Hello Gemini, welcome to your 2017 yearly forecast reading, and for this reading I'm going to be talking about your astrology, some of the main points of your solar astrology, and then I'll look at two tarot cards per quarter for your year with the tarot. So to start with the astrology, the most key things that you've got going on this year, Gemini, is you've got Saturn. It's in your 7th house of relationships, and that has been there since last year, and it's basically bringing some sense of heavy responsibility in relationships. There may have been quite a few tests for you in relationships. You could have ended a relationship or started a new relationship, or for those married, you may have just felt quite tested in that marriage. You may have taken on more responsibilities, as I said, somehow to do with your relationship. So that has been, one of the key areas of test for you, is to do with other people. If it wasn't to do with, a marriage partner or relationship, it could be someone significant in your life that has been bringing some, spiritual and real tests to your world. Jupiter has been in your 5th house of romance from from September 17th last year through to October this year. So all of this year until October, Jupiter will be in your 5th house of romance, creativity, self-expression, children. So some Geminis may have had a child or are having a child, and that could very much relate with the Saturn in the 7th house, which is bringing this sense of heaviness and responsibility around this significant person in your life. Or, for some Geminis, there can be an issue with a particular child. There could be more need to focus on a particular child, to, spend more time with a particular child, one of your children or more than one of your children. There could be something there that you had to really put a lot of efforts into, and it's really expanded, the time that you spend in that with that person, with that relationship. It could have demanded a lot from you energetically. Neptune has been causing some problems, and as well as Saturn for you in the last significant while, Gemini. So Neptune's in your marriage sector and in your career house. So a lot of Geminis may be struggling with what they're really doing on their path. You may feel at times really connected to your path and know what you're doing. Other times you may be really confused, and it could go back and forth a little bit, or you could just feel that you're still not sure where you stand, either in a marriage or in your career sector. So that is, for early Geminis, maybe not such a problem. So those born earlier, very early on in Gemini. But for those middle sort of Geminis, it can be a bit more of an issue. So let me see what else is there. There could be sudden changes in friendships and new ones forming. And from March to April 2017, Venus goes retrograde in your 11th house. So that's your house of friendship. So you could hear from an old friend, Gemini, or you could bump into somebody when you're out and about who was a friend of yours a while ago, or something along those lines. It could be a female, more likely, but somebody that you had a connection with. As I said, there can be new friendships being formed this year, and they can happen quite suddenly and unexpectedly, or they can be people that you meet at the most unpredictable places. You have a strong desire for freedom this year and to do your own thing, and time alone will actually be healing for you, especially in the beginning part of the year. But you also want to socialize. You may be trying to balance socializing with your desire to be on your own. There could be, for couples that are trying to conceive, some stress around that, or a lot of tests around that particular area, I see. But, it could also, there is, as I said, for Geminis, a strong potential to have a child. So that could be happening for, those Geminis that are wanting a child. Definitely, I see there is a strong potential for that this year. From December 2017, the end of this year, Saturn and Pluto go into your 8th soul house, which is a house of shared monies, finances, taxes, contracts, and there could be, something to do with the law or to do with the contract that needs sorting out. There could be problems with taxes. Something to stay on top of there, Gemini, just to be aware, or not to sort of get caught up in everything that you totally forget of your responsibilities in regards to taxes or things like that. But it is coming up from December 2017, or will continue through to 2018. So just be aware of anything to do with shared monies, contracts, loans, repayments, credit cards, all that type of thing, because that's where I see some little potential snags there for you. Now, from October, sorry, just to go back, I missed something. October, Jupiter will move into Scorpio and it will go into your 6th house of work. So there could be a job change for many Geminis from October 2017. So, and if there's not a job change, it looks like there could be you taking on something new in the workplace, having more work, more money coming in. That will be helpful for you, and some kind of potential advancement for you at work. So that will be in October, starting from October, and it stays there for quite a number, almost, I think it's almost a year, or probably a little bit longer, once Jupiter moves into Scorpio. So expect a lot going on from October in your work sector, Gemini. Let's look at the beginning of the year for you. January, February, March for Gemini. There's that one there. Oops, upside down. Okay, so the Hangman and the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so this speaks to me about career, and there's a sense of, for some Geminis, on the one hand, feeling like you're a little bit stuck in the career situation, or that things feel a little bit like you're like sort of a little bit bummed maybe to go back to work after the holidays, that type of vibe. But that said, once you get into it again, it looks like you're quite productive, and there's a lot of potential there for you to, you know, do quite well with your work in the first, well, this is for the first 3 months of the year. So, you know, this is like really getting down to work and really getting into it. So at first you may be feeling a bit like, am I really in the right job? Like when you're getting back into your work situation. And you may want to reevaluate your job situation, but it looks like it sorts itself out. So if there's some sense of insecurity or stagnation feelings in the beginning of the year, by March, end of March, it looks like it's sorted itself out for you in some way. You've worked something out, whether you've decided to start a new job or you've just started to focus more and feel a bit more productive. That's more kind of what I'm getting with that. Just need some water before I continue. We're in a heat wave here in Sydney at the moment. Okay. April, May, June for Gemini. Let's see what's next. So 2 cards for April, May and June. Oh, I really want to get that one there. And what else? It's funny how the cards really speak to me which ones to be pulled out. Oh, that's... I'm not doing reversals here, so let's see what we've got. Okay, April, May, June, it looks like some worries are on your mind, and the Three of Pentacles, there could be some issues or worries about money or commitments here. Okay, so there's anxiety coming in the picture here. So those Geminis that maybe, you know, deal on and off with anxiety, it shows it's flaring up maybe a little bit in April, May, June. But what I get here is, on the one hand, it's saying to focus on something that is inspiring to you and productive and has an opportunity connected to it, because it actually will lead to something good, is what I'm getting. A very sparky kind of hopeful energy with this card, which I feel really good when I look at, as opposed to this energy, which I feel there's an element of exhaustion here. And what I want to say is looking after your diet, because I feel with you Geminis that your nervous system is very sensitive, and so if you're putting chemicals into your body, like, you know, drinking soft drinks or having foods that are not good for you, like takeaway and things like that, because you feel rushed, you know, it could build up in your system and could create this feeling of anxiety here. So it's saying to get back on track, and what I feel, there's more of a calm energy with this. So if you are suffering from anxiety around these months, April, May, June, just to reevaluate your situation. And there could be a message about diet issues here, but and health in some aspect, but it's what I feel here, it's in your control and you can get yourself back on track with that. For some people it's an opportunity to do with studies and some kind of acknowledgement, or somebody giving you something that's saying, yes, we acknowledge, you know, you've done well, even though you may be worrying that you haven't done well. It's showing that there's something will come through. So if you've been studying and you're worrying about how well you're doing on an exam or something like that, that could also relate to this for you, Gemini. So but it looks like it works out well here. Okay, so that's good news. All right, let's see what's next. July, August, September 2017 for Gemini. Okay, the Death card and the Strength card. These are very intense cards, both major arcana cards, and obviously, you know, the Death card can be intimidating. It's the Pluto rule card, so you will have, you know, Pluto in your 8th house, which is a Scorpionic house. This could very much relate to the astrology in the solar chart. With the Strength card, it's saying that you will need strength to get through some tests, but you know, the positive thing is, Gemini, when you see this card, the Strength card, it actually is telling you a message that you do have the strength to get through this, to not feel that you don't, because, you know, in life each one of us is tested in different ways, and, you know, there's some kind of ending here of some aspect of your life, in terms of, you know, it could be, for example, a change of job, or a long-standing career that you had for a long time, or a relationship that you've had for a number of years, or you know, you may need to move from a location that you've become attached to. Things like this, where usually to do with the Death card, it signifies change, but, you know, once you make that change, it really breaks open your mind to new possibilities and new beginnings. So there is some kind of ending and new beginning for you, Gemini, in these months. So just going to see if there's anything else that I'm getting. It could be, you know, by the middle of the year, July, you know, this is for July, August, September, that you yourself have, you know, I feel like this is something that a lot of Geminis will be making a decision on. So it feels like something that you decide to take the reins on and make this change. So I feel like it's in your power, it's in your control. For a lot of Geminis, it feels this way. And that this card here is really pulling my attention, and the line here is about courage, and having the courage to take a risk and, you know, go on the path that feels right for you, which may mean saying goodbye to something that was familiar but possibly stagnant. Okay, September, what am I up to? Oh my gosh, I've lost track again. October, November, December, that's what I'm up to. So let's look at October, November, December for Gemini. Get 2 cards for that. Okay, this one here. Ooh, how appropriate, the Magician, which is the Gemini card. Interesting. Okay, and the 10 of Wands. Wow, that's really deep. So, this is about, you know, really seeing where your skills are at, Gemini, towards the end of the year, like a reevaluation of your skills and looking back at the past in a way. And, you know, you could feel burdened by not just the responsibilities that you have now, but by what you've been through as well in your life. So there's a bit of a serious energy around Gemini, you know, in 2017. It may be a bit on and off, but this is a serious card of, you know, this is representing Saturn in Sagittarius, actually. So that's interesting, because Saturn in Sagittarius is making an opposition to Gemini. So it is testing you. Saturn is testing you. And as I said in the beginning, it's testing you with relationships and significant people in your life. But this card is saying you have the power. You have the skills and abilities to navigate this situation. So don't give up on it. Maybe change your perspective on, you know, why you feel so burdened towards the end of the year. And, you know, use your skills to change a situation so that you don't feel so burdened by it. So it could be career related, it could be relationships, it could be, you know, something to do with children even. But you have the skills and the abilities to deal with this, and also the Strength card previously also indicated that. So, you know, there might be something for you to navigate here, but as I said, this is very positive and says you can do it, Gemini. Okay? Have a great year, Gemini, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading, please follow the links to my online store. Thank you.